Sure. Okay, welcome everyone to the 121st Knowledge Seekers Workshop, the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute, for Thursday, July 14th, 2016. And we're going to start off the workshop with a dedication to Fabio Alfonso. I'll play the video from last week where we speak about him and show some pictures for the first part of the video. Okay, let me begin. Okay, welcome everyone to the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute Memorial for Fabio Alfonso, who passed away on July 6, 2016. And this is Thursday, July 7th, 2016. Normally we have the Knowledge Seekers Workshop at this time, but we're going to have the memorial. And now we'll play the video that Flint has put together for the memorial, and we'll hear from Mr. Keshe after that. Okay, we'll move into Mr. Keshe now and the main part of today's workshop. This is the 121st Knowledge Seekers Workshop, the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. And once again, Mr. Keshe is here to give us some guidance on today's state of the union, you might say. How are you doing there, Mr. Keshe?
Thank you very much. As usual, good morning, good day to you, wherever and whenever you listen to these teachings. We had a false start, and in that time of resetting, a lot of needed to be reset. I was the last person who saw Fabio leaving this office on Wednesday on the left side of the car driving as a driver, and somehow unknown to us, nobody else, Fabio was found on the right side of the car at the point of accident. I was the last person, more or less, seeing him before the coffin was closed in my village. And in so many ways, we spent weeks with him here. I spent 6 hours a day, sometimes 7 hours a day in this room or upstairs in teaching, and learned a lot, had a lot of joy, a lot of respect for somebody, as Caroline said, came to us a year ago as a boy, and over a year became a man with a lot of respect. And I thank you for observing the 4 days of celebrating his life. I watched this video many times. I could not see, I could not understand how such a position was possible. Today, in a very open way, but in a way to the language of those who understand the communication, I will transfer 4 different words and ways of information. Fabio's death was not an accident. In time, I opened the books. I've received communication from the head of state, and in trying to communicate, a lot has become open to me. There are those who try to force for the change what was supposed to come last week to slow down. There were those who wanted to keep the status quo. We changed the status quo. Today, we'll teach in different ways. Those of you who try to force the change, I have a message for you. Your time is over back home. You took a physicality with the soul of the man. We take your soul back home to where you came from. Finished. You understood. We sent you here to mature man. You picked up the habit of the man. We sent you here to promote the soul of the man, and you played the game of the man. You know the punishment. According to the Universal Council, you have called back, and under orders, you will meet your destiny at the point where you know you have to go. Those of you who never understood the meaning of this physicality with the soul of entity we interact with. This is a sign of the universal contact. And those who taught the man the knowledge of the universe and abused it will meet their own punishment according to the law of the universe. The leaders who followed and fooled the others, and those who brought the entirety of the soul of the man to be enslaved through playing power games, your term is finished. We teach the man today everything, and then you'll understand the terms in the Universal Council, how we'll deal with these situations. We send those to be observers in passing the knowledge they observed according to the laws, but they got carried away to play the games too. In the past thousands of years, number of ways we tried to influence, to bring man to peace, but it became a mayhem of one group or other playing the same game as the man across this planet. The term is finished. We bring the knowledge to the man today that those of you who committed the atrocities of the past years will come to understand the time has come to be served according to the Universal Council and the way we work to the human body. We don't punish. The man who takes a life or entity who takes the life of another man on a planned basis to achieve what he wants to do, but trying to be impartial in the positions like what we have here, is that we give the soul of the murderer to the soul of the murdered. And then it has to live with the physicality of the murdered. This you will not understand, but in the future you will understand. In a way, it means you have to wear the shoe of the one you have murdered. And as you know, you cannot fit into everyone's shoe. This is the punishment. This is how it is. Encapsulating the body of the man is nothing, but encapsulating the soul within the soul of the man means becoming a slave to your own soul, and in time you'll understand. In many of my teachings, I explain this in a matter state, and a lot of you, which you look in the materialistic world, did not understand it. I draw pictures of the spinal plasma, and I put copper and zinc, and then you understand the lighter cannot exist without the one which is stronger, and then you understand how in the Universal Council we give the man to serve himself his own punishment. When we give the finger and we close, it means it's a time of punishment. You've been served. And those who understand the language of the finger, they understand what it means to do. You depart, you take your position, and the ones who you brought to educate, to serve mankind and abuse it, they stand their own term of punishment. I gave a clear coded message on Tuesday teaching, and I received a response less than 24 hours later from those who knew who they'd done wrong. So, as I said, we are entering man into the universal community, so you have to understand the basic rules of the universal community. When you come in touch, you don't interfere, and you don't use the knowledge which you have to create conditions for you to confirm you have the knowledge and you can play what you call power games. Those who done will depart in a coming time, and you will be escorted to where you know exactly to be. Those world leaders who've been in touch and been disclosed the information to, we warn you. Return back to the position of the peace, and some of you who have committed atrocities, you will have to stand the same punishment exactly as has been done in the Universal Council. World leaders, you made a mistake. I've been told not to mention names, but President Obama, you're online. You can come anytime and explain how You have made a black house out of the White House. We know you're online. We invite you to speak, and the silence is confirmation of the crime. For those of you who have started understanding the work of the universe, and in what we teach now, you will see more. We have a message for you. From today, you start the process of entering a dimension of understanding where physicality has no dimension, but your emotion and your soul will dictate the terms and the conditions. You will understand by the end of the day today. Those of you who try to override the situation, when I'm here, nothing is overridden. Numbers 7 billion is literally a speck of dust in the numbers we play with in the Universal Council. If you think you can manipulate a few hundred or a few thousand or a few million, they don't even count as the number of the entities of life with the soul in the universe is even beyond your imagination. So we serve the order, we will carry out the order. It's the end of kingship, it's the end of whatever you like to call yourself as groups, Illuminatis, Rothschilds, different groups, kings of different estates, you call yourselves as murderers and abusers, head of estates. We have finished your term as from today, and as from today, there shall be no religion, no name of Judaism, no name of Christianity or Islam, as all have been abused for the benefit of few. Any man from today call himself a Jew, the exact word of it is nothing but, according to what is being carried out, a murderer. You've taken the soul and have used it through the physicality. We gave you the knowledge. You have used it for physicality to gain knowledge. As of today, there shall be no Jews. No one could terminate it except me, who come from the bloodline of Moses. And I've dished what he was his biggest fear. So let's see how the rest will play the game. We decide and we change, and from today we change and we teach you everything which has been given to the governments over the past 6,000 years. You will understand, copy it, but understand it, that the tool I give you today and in the teachings of next few days is the tool for the peace, is the tool for reunion, is the tool to bring man to be equal with each other, not for the separation of to be better. I will teach you how to create whatever is your imagination. You will make it, not me. At the moment, we have a pressing situation in our hand. I give my deepest condolences to the Chinese nation for the present flood. I give my deepest condolences to those who have lost members and some millions who've been displaced. We have made commitment to the Chinese Keshe Foundation, and we carry our orders to help to bring the rescue plans and every other possible ways, partially as of teaching of today, partially helping in the background to deliver the technology as rapidly as possible through civil organizations of Chinese society to help in a way to alleviate some of the pains till we deliver the following knowledge directly to the Chinese organizations who work with us to speed up the process. Can I have the screen, please? This is directly to those who are involved in child cash foundations in China, and it's your responsibility to respond to your national need at this time. This makes you ready for what is to come in a short time, that at least you have the first runs, you understand. You have massive flood. We have taught this in the background to the people who work with us to prepare, and the work and the funds has been made available for the rescue. But this is huge, and you need to help. Keshe Foundation organizations in China, is your responsibility to stop every way you are researching, but to work in this direction till every man in China has received the support from this flood. You have a massive flood. The flood has created contamination of water and soil, contaminated heavy beyond the use. Go back to the reports and the teachings of the Keshe Foundation Ghana. Very simple process. Produce as much as you can any of the four gases: copper oxide, zinc, CO2, CH3, and you need the amino acid. The instruction is make 100 milliliter, if you can, of all the gases in 2 bottles. In 1 bottle, you put only CuO gas. You write a clear instruction for people what to do, and that is on the receipts of the first bottle. They mix.
Excuse me, Mr. Keshe, we're getting a lot of feedback through the fans there. It's a really loud rumbling coming through. Maybe an adjustment of the microphone or adjustment of the fans. Maybe you need to remove your coat or something to cool down. That might help.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Put it on the top one a second, it's okay. Put it on the first one. Yeah, press it there, yeah. It's okay. We are at 37, 35, 38 degrees heat, summer heat in south of Italy. You do not bother about anything else. You produce the CuO, CO2, the green stuff or the brown stuff, which is copper. You put it in the small jars. Don't look for anything. Any drinking bottle like this is sufficient. Put it in there because you have these in masses. You don't need to look for anything special. Put the CO2 with the water in it and put a label on it, how to use it. They take any water from contaminated water anywhere they want to be. You allow them, you only fill about 1/3 of this bottle with the gas, and you leave the rest to be filled up with the plain water or just the gas. They can add the river water or add pure water to it, wherever they find it, and add this water on top of the gas into the contaminated water of the river. It has to be 1 liter per 100 liter of contaminated water. You need about 1 liter of the gas water, what is above, in this contaminated water. What you will see is the following. You all have seen. The 100 liter will give you something like 10 liter of residual with a clean drinking water. This 90 liter is more or less whatever you have here.
Mr. Keshe, we can't see that color at all on, it's completely transparent on the board here.
I go another one. So you have the water. No, don't change the lights. It's just, it's better, it doesn't matter because then it goes dark. So you have the 10 liter plus 100. All you need to do, take the top. Even go for 50% of it. This water is absolutely pure. You can drink it. Any germs, any bacteria, any sediment is out of the water. Make sure you use copper oxide. Copper oxide is the only one which at the moment can give you the what I call the energy to transfer and clean the water out. This 50 liter, whatever is your drinking water, is usable water, non-contaminated, no salt, nothing else. It's pure drinking. Now, you produce a second bottle. Another bottle, what you need to add in this bottle is CO2 plus CH3 plus zinc oxide plus Mr. Cohen. Sorry about it. It's not a Jewish one. It's generous. It gives totality. CO2 is still decontamination, but if any residue left in that water, you need a liter of the CO2, this mixture, with a liter or half a liter of the clean water. So you take from the clean water, you add half a liter of it to the mixture, you get yourself the water which comes out here. You never use, and when you write the manual, you never tell them to touch the residue. Only play with the water. The CO2 will give you the establishment of part of the energy you need. This will cover you for most of the energy you need. This is needed in these conditions because most of the people get in touch with these conditions, they get emotionally disturbed and make mistakes and continues for years. By adding the zinc oxide, you bring stability to emotion and they think correct. So you feed the physicality and you feed the emotion. You'll find people will not behave out of order. They'll find a solution in peace with themselves and the condition they are in. And you add amino acid that it connects with their body. In the point of infection, damages, anything else on the skin, cuts and bruises, deep cuts, there are certain procedures. You write the manual, very simple. In the case of infection on the skin or the cuts, they use again the Gans water. We're talking about the plasma. CuO plus CO2. This gets rid of most of infections if there is on the skin. If you increase, if it's a deep cut, if it's a need for internal conditions, for damages to the organs or whatever, below the neck, here you go 50-50. In the condition of the damages, very deep cut, you have to change the composition. You do a CuO, CO2 plus a zinc oxide plus the amino acid. Ratio, because it's physical, 5, 3, 1, and 1. I'll correct this one that you understand exactly what it is. So this is needed. You do the repair in the muscle tissue. You do the connection and communication for the repair. Each tissue is not only physical, it has the zinc, which is the emotion, and that's where that finger sign came from, physicality and emotion. And the stupid presidents use it without understanding it. You've been all a clown for long enough. So 5, 3, 1, 1. So if you make 5 drops, 3 drops, 1 drop, and 1 drop, you speed up the process of the healing of tissue muscles. In a position of the broken bone, which creates, if you understand the process of the healing of the bone, bone can be healed rapidly at a point of breakage and bleeding. Your bone has a skin that when it breaks, it creates inflammation, which brings the limbs to support and brings calcium in emergency to come. So if you have a broken bone, you can instruct them very simply, or you can add a small sachet of calcium oxide. They mix the water of calcium oxide to the above mixture in the cases of heavy damage. You reduce the CO2. Let's do it that you understand it correctly. For the bone damage, you use CO2, you use copper oxide, you use CH3, you use amino acid, and you use calcium oxide from any bone. Some of the vegetation are good at it. In the Chinese community, you know what is sitting on that side for the calcium to bring. Very quickly, you can produce it. You can bring it from the ashes of the bone. If you burn the bone, you can collect it very quickly. Here, the combination is 4, even 3 drops, 2 drops, 1 or 2, 1 and 1. Here, you produce a muscle tissue and a bone tissue at the same time for rapid repair. In the cases of head injury, where you have your citizens with a head injury, especially brain damage, the condition changes totally. You make again the same thing, CO2 plus calcium oxide plus zinc oxide. These are in the cases of brain injury. So if you, from the beginning, when you're producing it, even give them 4 bottles, and in each bottle add the amino acid of the water you created it into the bottle, the condition is perfect. In these conditions, you go 3, 3, and 4. You need the calcium oxide because the brain cells establish themselves from the calcium of the skull, and without it, you can't have a brain cell. It is important. So you look at the injuries, this is what you need to do. In a coming time, later on in teachings of today, we bring different sections of the Keshe Foundation who've been working in the background to show you a new way of technology development, which you've been waiting for, which you can use in transportation and even transmutation and production of the energy to deliver these directly locally, but you have to make the systems. So we recapture. Try to make the gases copper oxide, zinc oxide, CH3, Cu CaO2, which is a calcium. And every time you make these oxides, when you make these gases, just as you've seen, you collect a little bit of amino acid on the top. Just tip your thing, whatever you have, and add its amino acid to its gas in the water. It will stay, it will absorb, become part of it. Just stir it in it. Your gas is collected at the bottom. When you collect the gas, you put it in the bottle, add a tip into the gas. You have transferred enough amino acid of the same, because you need these to be able to connect to the injuries when it needs to be repairing. So what you do, you've seen the combination. Heavy cuts, you do, then you add the emotion and the linkage, which is there. The ratio is very clear. You have brain injury, bone injury, everything, rapid growth and rapid changes. There is, in the condition you want to take it further, this is the backbone of the Oasis system, as you know up to now. We add to the knowledge today, and we change the course of humanity from today on. We open the transportation equal to the transportation systems of the universal community today. We carry on maybe tomorrow, or maybe on Monday, or maybe on Tuesday, till, like the Maghreb systems, you start creating your first flight system. Today we call it the blueprint for a space. If you listen, you understand, you'll find out how you will be detached from material state, and how you make systems which have no matter, and you start working the way those who came here to teach man about the universal community got entangled in the beauty of the women and the wealth of land. And they changed their habits. From being the man of universe, they became the criminals of the planet. So we have sent them back. Earth from now on receive knowledge directly from the hand of the Creator. Time of torture is over. If you want to understand how to make systems which they work according to the work of the universe, you have to understand the work of the universe in its true essence. In some positions, you have already known, you have seen, but somehow the confidence of being intelligent being has been taken from you by those who pretended and brought the intelligence for those who wanted to abuse. To understand the work of the universe, look at the universe. The picture is here. Easily you can see. What do you see? Open soup. Open soup of plasma fields, open soup of magnetical and gravitational fields, and open soup of the universe. Let's look. I tried to explain the knowledge in a way that you understand, and I have explained this knowledge in different ways to 2 or 3 groups around the Keshe Foundation, around the world, that if anything happens, they carry their part of the message, and the man can put it together themselves. We were expecting collateral damage last Wednesday, Thursday, and the man who made the decision to make the collateral damage In the house, which is supposed to be white, it turned out to be very black. The same woman in the position of power where I was imprisoned for 11 days in Canada had her hand in it. So, unfortunately, we shall see no presidents as a woman. The reality is, you look in the atmosphere of the universe. This is, if you look at it, the universe. What do you see in this universe? I explained this in a very fine way to our team that they could understand it, and a lot of you can relate to it. The universe has a central line very short out of this other and will carry on in its work. So the earth, the sun, center of a plasma of an electron or a proton, and the center of the universe have a central line, which this line dictates the direction of the motion of the entity. In this line, somewhere there is a large concentration of high power, which this high power fields are themselves in rotation to be able to absorb fields in and to feed out. It was this moment where these massive amount of fields, which they are in motion, at some points of different strength, will interact. And the interaction of the two fields will lead, depending on the quantity and on the strength and the size of the entity, to creation of the universes, then the creation of the galaxies, the creation of the solar systems, and then the planetary, then comes the moons, then it comes the atomic structure, then it comes matter state, and everything else. This applies to all. You are a man of matter state and physicality. You want to see the work of the universe. I explained to the team in a way they could understand. You know what a cotton candy is? Cotton candy is the thing which is a fluffy thing. You go to the fairs, you buy it, they put a stick in and they roll it and it becomes a sugar. And it's a fluff. This is exactly the work of the universe. The center is the sugar. The speed of the rotation of spreading the sugar open, and then the webs of the cotton candy machine spreads like a spider web. It's nothing, it's everything, but it has no entity. Till you put a stick in the center of it, then it becomes the center point of the interaction and the creation. Then you roll it and you pad it up. If you understand this, you understand the process of the creation of any entity in the universe. Where at one point the fields become strong enough to solidify, to become an entity, becomes the center. Be it the universe, be it the galaxy, and whatever else. And in our teachings, we call this center the wood which you put in the center of the space of the cotton candy machine, the principal matter, because now it dictates and it builds up. Go back to the knowledge of man. Go back how you can make this cotton candy a stick and bring the cotton candy in it, because now if you decided and you understood it, then it becomes very easy You choose how big the candy becomes, and by bigness, how close and where you want to be, in what color and shape. So, if it's been hard for you, I had to go through this process. I had to go through the process of the materialistic man, as I've said many times, to create the nanomaterial, to create the GANs, to create the plasma, liquid plasma, which actually the liquid plasma for you now is your sugar inside the center of the cotton candy. Then I mixed everything the way I just told you. Copper oxide, zinc oxide, everything is in one level, equal. And then you start rotating it, but you could not fix it. Now we show you how from a matter state to go to the nano state, to go to the gas state, to go to the liquid plasma, to the fields. Now we show you how you make the fields. Go back on the history of a man. Look at how, for centuries, man looked how to make a dome. One of the biggest achievements of the man was to learn how to make a dome. There are different stories of how different cultures came to build it. But in essential way, if you look at it, when you wanted to make the dome, you needed a scaffolding. Some made the scaffolding of the hay. They shaped it to the shape of the dome. They built the dome, and then they took the scaffolding away. What they got left with was the dome they wanted. I tried to teach you how to make the scaffoldings. Now I teach you how to make the dome. You're a spaceship. You have to build a structure where you can support it, and once you built it, you take it away, the structure is there without the material state. So you've done all of it. You build the gas, you build the gas, you build the field, you build the bowls, and you saw the emptiness of the field inside the bowl. You had your gas water and you had your gases. The only thing you have a problem with is how to get this ball to rotate and how to use the energy of it, that whatever is in this ball now can exist without the rest. And if you manage to do this, you'll understand something. It's you who's going to decide what this is going to be. It's a center line, it's an energy independent of any entity like the universe. You want energy, you want motion, you want matter, you want whatever. Now you have the energy of the universe in your hand. This has been your problem. Energy, not from what you see, but what you feel and you understand the energy of. I had to play every trick in the book of universe to get your children of the man to understand it, but all the time is your habit to look the other way. Now, I put you on the pin and you have to understand it because you have no choice. Because now we have dismissed your bosses who abuse you, so you have no choice but to do it yourself. There are no more leaders, as in space. You cannot come to Earth and say, what's the decision of you, sir? You, sir, is you yourself, sir. You have to decide as the last man standing. We gave you the pen, we gave you plasma, we gave you the GANs, you sprayed it, you drank it, you saw the difference. Now you understand it's there. Now you have to understand how to make it that is there, but you don't need to contain it. You don't need to contain it. This, if you understand, you reach the knowledge of the most advanced cultures in the universal community. And as I said, when I take man to space, I will not take him as subordinate, I take him as equal. To be equal, you have to understand from the top. You have to understand it's no use building what we tried to do with the time of God knows, 6,000 years ago. We repeated it again, and we've done it some years before that, and a few kept to themselves, and they've used it. Now, you all learn how to control this energy, and then you build and make and have whatever you need from it. Your problem was how to create this energy. Your problem was how to contain it, and then when you contain it, what about there is no dimension in the matter state? I said in many of my teachings, the beauty of working on this planet is even in the tapes that we all the time play at the beginning of it. I keep on saying, why don't these people even listen to this tape? Because all the message is in that tape. We gave you the matter that you can create the plasma, that it controls the plasma through production of nano, the GANs, and they're all interconnected and of the same so strong that one day you understand the plasma. Let's build the spaceship, or at least a universal system that this thing becomes your sun. It's you who decide you make a Jupiter, the Earth, the Mars, and or the life, or whichever material is in this universe. Let's go back to the basic. This way, we all start the same. We started with a simple copper wire. In that copper wire, we nano-coated it. In the nano-coating, we created the GANs. In creating the GANs, we saw the energy of it. Now we know the energy is somewhere in there. How can we capture it? How can we tame it? And then we understand the work of our own emotion, and our own soul is the same as that pink bit in the center is there without attachment to physicality, and it controls your physicality. So if you can make one of these in a system, and you already have one of these within the structure of your brain, your soul, your emotion, you can see how you decide the interaction. I want to have water. The energy of the water will be part of me. I don't need to drink it. Where am I going to find your water? In the middle of deep space. Would like to come back to Earth to keep on drinking? Or the understanding that when the water enters the body of the man, it becomes, as I've told many times, in a field condition of the GANs, and this water now behaves as a plasma. And when it goes in your stomach, it transfers its energy through as a plasma, not as water. And then when it comes to its destination in the lymph, adds to the what you call positioning, you call it water, which is less far, closer distance. Then it becomes a bone if it's a tighter pack, it becomes a muscle tissue if it's a softer pack, or it stays in liquid if its gaps are too far. So that's all you need to know. Distance gives you, the closer they become, the harder the material becomes, the bone. Further distance becomes your muscle tissue. Further distance becomes your lymph and the liquid of the body. So now you understand is how you position yourself and how you absorb energy from the environment, and how you don't need to carry water with you, but if the body of the man needs energy of the water for its conformation of existence, then you produce and receive energy which converts itself, the same as crossing the stomach, crosses the body of the man and becomes the liquid of body of the man. This is what I in my teaching always say. We take 80% of our energy from our environment, and 20%, because we are physical, we have to put something in it to confirm we exist. Now you understand the process. You have to create a condition for anything you need that in interaction with what you think, which is non-dimensional, you don't have a container where your thoughts are in it. You don't have a container where your emotions are in it. It's a free plasma field interaction that will give you the strength. Then you understand you have entered the world of universal community in the interaction, motion, communication, and everything else. So the problem is, how do we make the scaffolding that it can give us the dome? How do we make a structure that it gives us the free plasma? We know where it is, we have a control of it, and then we can play the game of gods. We came down the nanomaterials, we came down to GANs of the plasma. Now, a lot of you by now should have found how to do it. And somehow it did not click. Somehow it did not work for a lot of you because you're too materialistic and you're looking for things which are not actually there, but they are there, you can't see it. You've been told you can't see it, don't believe it, show me till I believe it, and that's how they control you. So I'll show you the magic, how to believe and what to believe in. You will see, and Keshe Foundation team will show you everything piece by piece. You had everything in front of you. Are these all from you, Dr. Klaus? We have the pleasure of having Dr. Klaus with us here this week. He came all the way from Austria to bring materials to save the life of a girl he's never met, but the life is precious to him. Thank you for coming. This is what the presidents don't understand. Their life is worthless, and they make a decision to take it because they think they have the power. We have taken that away from you because you are not even worth being on this planet. What you need to do is, now we make the scaffolding. This is part of the structure of making the scaffolding. You get yourself a box. In this scaffolding, you add all the GANs waters you have ever created. Fill it up to a limit, which you will understand the limit in the time to come. Add some of the ganses at the bottom of it. What ganses you put at the bottom is the central line of the universe. So a continuous energy is released. It does not work with your bottom, with the mixture of the water. But in fact, if you look at it, by leaving some GANs material at the bottom, you create this line. Energy is continuously fed. You put the liquid plasma, the waters which you made, on the top. Let it settle. The energy is forward upcoming, continuously inside. This is your, in a way, the sugar. This is your candy cotton. Now you have to collect it. Now you have to make the scaffolding to be able to bring it together. In my teachings, I have taught you everything. But again, my children, you are too passive. When you added your ganses into your system, what are ganses we have here? We have plenty of it. These are all ganses we have collected in this place. You put your ganses, let it settle. Then you add the water of the ganses. Now this water has become the plasma. You've seen it. You take the water, you spray it on your skin, the pain is gone. So the field is inside it. Now you have the universal condition. Now it's you who decides, do you want to be a galaxy? Do you want to be a star or do you want to be a planet? In what and how you stick your pen in, how close you stick your pen in, and how fast you return the spin. In our teaching, we showed you the spin, but you all missed it. Do you remember these little cores? How we brought this in? These half cores which you made, you filled it with the GANs, you made the balls of it, and you did everything you wanted. The center of this does not need any GANs. If you place it in here, according to the strength you absorb, becomes the center. Hollow, but contained. It's you now who's got to start the steering. It's you who have to condition it that it can control it. In that process, very simply, all more or less you got to do is to add the next ingredient. Your rotating ball, your stick. When you have the stick, now the stick is empty, but now in rotating, if you remember the plasma balls, where you had the ball, you had the gas water, you have the free energy, free plasmatic gravitational.
Mr. Keshe, we can barely see that pink.
Oh my God, you can't.
Thank you. That one works.
No problem.
Thank you.
But you have again a plasmatic field. You got to make two of them because we learn when you have two, part of the fields interact, part of the fields repel, so you need to create two of them. That the interaction of parts of the field in the same direction, same speed or opposite, creates both the gravitational and the magnetic. And in that process, now you sustain a dynamic plasma. Because in trying to catch up, in trying to absorb, in trying to give the energies of the lower order to receive the higher order, you create a turbulence. You create a motion. But now you have this. You have to contain it, that in containing it, you decide very much, going back to where we started, how and what you want to do. You've seen now this is your core. For you to be able to decide for the time being, we had to give you the rings. There it comes. Another part of the ingredient. As you've seen, is your maglev system. If you look at it, it's the coils, which now they decide. Now you have the fields of the plasma through it. Then you start the game. This is what you are supposed to do. This is what now, according to what you put in or across, will dictate the creation, because now you carry both gravitational and magnetical condition of the flow, and out of nowhere you create what to you is a black hole, what is to me a principal matter in the center of these cores, without any material, but with all the powers and the energy of the universe. Now you have created a structure which carries huge amount of energy, but now you have to take the scaffolding off. Very easy. Very easy. Once you start the rotation, empty the container. That's all you need to do. Nothing else. Because once you empty it, the fields are still there because they're already gathered. You create a center, and then the center decides on its own, according to connection with your emotion, what to be. You create a massive gravitational magnetic field force, which through your emotion you control. You do this every day in your life. You control. I want to move my arm. I want to move my leg. Where do you think it comes from? It's a remote control through the transfer of energy. And now, all you need to do, if you're very clever, you even take the cores away, and then you have a ball of energy. Very simple. The biggest mystery of the universe is solved in one go. But the more you get expedited, then you know how to control it, and you see how it can be added. You brought the matter, you created the entities, you added with what you have, you created the plasma field, you contain the plasma field at a speed which comes on its own rotation. The rest is the sun. It's free of the mother, but still receives the energy or gives what it needs. You can keep the condition of the liquid till you get confidence the way you did. If you tap into what comes out or what goes in, you will have your meager electric current if you put matter to it. If you understand this process, you can connect to anywhere in the universe. That's how simple it has been. And our messengers getting attracted to the body of the woman on this planet changed everything upside down. We came to see how it is and why physicality makes such a change. You can all go home. You did not deliver correct. You stand your space when you go back. Brennan, are you in the background? Is Jonathan in the background? Do you see Jonathan in the background? Yeah? Is Bernie in the background anywhere? Pardon? Are they in the viewers? Because they come directly in into the Zoom. Is any of them online? They were online about an hour ago, 2 hours ago.
There's a Jonathan Colina, Colina. Is that him? I can promote him to panelist. Is that the Jonathan? Yeah, if that is the Jonathan, you could put up your hand and I can promote you to panelist.
That's him, Rick. Yeah, I'm here. Clint's in the background somewhere too.
Oh, guys. Okay, Douglas, you have the physical system with you in the state. The beauty of it is we've done this in different countries that no government can block this technology transfer today. Douglas, you have made the system. Would you like to go and then we go to the schematic which is made by the others later on? Would you like to share a screen and show us in what we showed?
Yes, Mr. Keshe. Just give me 1 second here.
Can you contact Brennan in the background to see why they're not online? They were supposed to be all in one place by now.
Yes, Mr. Keshe.
We share the knowledge in a rapid way in the past 2 weeks to make sure that no government can stop us. It's done by the Americans. The technology of the Keshe Foundation has been shared between 3 nations at the highest level. And
hello, Mr. Keshe.
who's that?
This is Jonathan.
Okay, Jonathan, you have the demonstration to show us, the diagram?
Yes, Yes, I can present to you the initial design that we have come up with. So I'm going
Okay.
to share
Can
screen.
can you share it with us? These are the
Sure.
basic blueprint of the spaceship, creation of the three partner condition needed for deep space travel. Can you share with
Okay.
us?
Yeah, sure. Wait up.
Share your screen.
Um, okay, so uh, good day, everyone. This is the initial design that we have come up. So Renan gave me the concept of the dual core setup. So this is what it looks like. So this is the initial setup. So we're gonna, the design goal is to make this small circle to rotate while probably in clockwise direction, while this G, this red figure here would rotate in opposite direction. So we've come up with a basic design. Uh, we use planetary gear system, something like this.
Okay. Can you go back, please? Go back 2 steps. Go back. Go back. Go back.
This
Go back
one.
to where, no, the total pictures you had on, please. And then I'll explain. Yeah. Okay. That's perfect. Thank you very much. This is a blueprint. You have to, no, go back to where you just were before. No more. Yeah, stop there. You have to understand how can we go in this. You need to use your thingy there. Yeah, okay. Can you give me the option there, please? This option, and then give me yeah. Okay. What we're going to show you, it's very simple to understand, but it's very easy. When you look at this is, hey, okay, this is what happened. Where are we going? Can you remove this? We need this to be removed. This is not from. Jonathan, can you take your panel on the right-hand side, please, out?
Sure,
We
sure.
see your communication with the people. Okay?
Okay.
It's on there. We don't want it. If you can take it off, please.
What about that one? Is it okay now?
Okay, now we're okay. No problem.
Okay.
So, the minute that comes. Okay, no problem. So, what we have, I cannot get the, okay, I'll put it. What we have here, if you look at it, this is your container of dense material. This is the way you got to look at it. This is the coils which is made to create dynamism, not the flat rotation. The same here. You don't need to have any sealing on this material. It can be as many holes as possible on all the balls, because now you have dictated it. There is no need for vacuum. You make as much hole as you like in it, because the parameter of the ball itself has dictated the condition, so you don't have to worry about sealing anything. There is no sealant in the universe. What comes in, becomes part of. So these cores you look at, before we made a vacuum, we made all sorts of things. You don't need it anymore, as long as you create dimension of hold. That what you mix in that environment creates its own, and this tube inside here has to be hollow. That your empty space of plasma is created. The size of this tube will give you the strength of and the amount of your fields. So what you need to do, as you've seen, you put the coils around it, which you embedded in. Can you go to the next picture, please? Jonathan?
This one, sir.
Carry on further, please. Go further.
That one.
Yes, that's okay. Carry on further, please. Where you get the coil?
Okay, so
Straight to the coils, please.
okay, so the design goal when I talked with Renan was that we're going to create a gear system that would rotate in opposite direction. So in order to accomplish the design goal, is we created a planetary system gear, this one,
Yeah.
such that if
You see,
this one rotate.
yeah. Okay.
So this is the we are going to use 12 volts.
Can you go a step further forward? Forget about the gearbox, gear mesh. We'll come to this later on.
Okay.
Go back forward to where you connected to the coils.
This one, sir?
Further on. Carry on. Carry on. You see, in this position, now you have a cavity over cavity, which is created by the size of the matter state, which you converted into a plasma state. Go all the way forward to your last pictures, please.
Okay, so in order to explain this better, I created a animation. So the
Okay. Just
it looks like this.
go forward. It's no problem. Just go forward.
So this is the how the system works.
Sorry, is it possible to remove the annotations?
Sure. Wait up.
We're trying to clean. Yeah. No. Yes. You have to erase the drawings in the background, please. Okay, got
Okay.
Okay, let it run, please. We don't need the mechanism. Go all the way forward to the next step. Go forward to
Wait.
where you join the coils and the coils. I'm not interested in the gearbox.
Okay, sir. Wait up. So here.
Go forward. Go forward.
Okay, sir. Wait up.
We just want to see the cores and the coils to the next step.
Oh, wait up. I can't click the 3D.
Brennan is on, but Jonathan has the pictures.
Wait, I'm having problem with this.
We had a very bad line with Philippine today. We tried this morning. Do you want to go forward? Can you show us the end line of your drawing, if you have it?
Okay, sir. Sorry, I can't move.
Can you put your last picture on, the very last one, when the cores and the coils are together?
This one, sir.
No, that's okay. Stop there. No problem. That's
Mr. Keshe, I've got my pictures of the core ready. If you're
okay. Can you stop sharing? We go to Douglas.
Okay, sir.
Thank you very much. Douglas, you have the different drawing, the two-dimensional one. Can we see those for you to understand, just to get a picture of it, then we show the systems. Can you share a screen? Somebody's microphone is open in the background in Philippines. Douglas, can you share or do you have a problem? Hello, there is. Okay, this is how it looks. Stay there, don't move. This is your core inside, dynamic, and this is your coils. You can take energy if you're interested. 300-400 megawatts is no problem. We are looking for a 3-4 terawatts, no problem. It's you who decides the problem. What's the problem? Did you touch something? The only way you will understand the power will change is which coil you use, or if you are interested in the electron vibration. If you're interested in the crumbs, we can give you trillions of crumbs. Or you're interested in the plasmatic condition. In a next presentation, you will see something different, which we'll show in a minute. Can we have your next picture, please? What you see, even it's nearly a week, 10 days they're working on, is the preliminary and more or less obsolete. But we have to go through it that you can understand it. This is, would you like to explain to us, Douglas, what it is and what you've done? Are you there? Hello?
Sorry,
Yes.
Mr. Keshe, I was muted. Yes, this is the stand that I use to fabricate my coils on. I don't like having the metal inside the container, so you'll see in a minute they're on a different apparatus. But I use this stand as a temporary device to build the coils and get them aligned properly and connected properly. You can see the Caroline core inside, and this is a hollow tube right here that the nano-coated wire goes down inside of the Caroline, or the outer core, the Caroline core being on the inside with a butterfly loop around it of a smaller ball on the inside of the ping pong ball, which was quite a task. I'll go to the next picture here. It's just another view of the same setup, and here is inside the container is what I was seeing how what kind of room I was going to have. This container worked out great for me, so I went with this one. And oh, sorry about that. There we go. This is the final assembly. As you can see, the cores are all the magravs are in there, nice and neat and connected properly. And I've placed the Caroline core in the center, and it's free to rotate. And this is a side view of it. And you can see that it's all copper. There's no steel in there, and plastic with the Caroline core in the center. And this is the motor that drives it. That's on top here. I'm holding it stationary right there, and it is spinning. And I am eager to put Gans water in it and start this thing up tomorrow, hopefully.
Thank you very much. You got to understand we had to hold this information back as much as possible, that we do not repeat the accidental accident of Fabio with other members of the Keshe Foundation. If you look at this structure here, if we can go on the camera, please. Can we just go on the camera? Can you take a picture, a snap picture of this, please, and then stop sharing? If you look at that structure, It's exactly a maglev unit with the core, dynamic core in the center. This is what we told you originally from the beginning. The maglev systems will be everything you need. If you want to see how you create powers the way you like, do we have Armin on the line? Can we see Armin in the background?
Yes.
Armin, are you there?
Yes.
Armin John.
Yes.
Armin John, can you show us the system which you just finished, please, with a copper ring in the middle?
Sure, no problem.
Share the screen.
It's not assembly yet, but here.
If you look, the core is in the center. You have two. You better explain, Armin, please.
You have a copper core in the center, not nano-coated, and two nano-coated coils, one on top, one on bottom. And it's not connected yet, but this is how not the same as a stacker.
And the core,
And then in the middle, it goes this core. Here. Let me show you on a motor first. This is inside another core.
if you look, it's got nano-coated wires on top of both cores. So they continuously mix. With the problem with this is it still has got a motor.
Yeah.
Armin, would you like to show us the unmotor man exactly the way it is in the space, please? We don't see any engines, any motors on the end of each planet.
Yes.
Armin is in the phase of replication of the same process universe, rotation without, perpetual rotation without any motors. Would you like to show us what you have? It'll be
Yes.
ready by tomorrow.
Yes, it will be ready by tomorrow. This, all you have to do, just, connect your cores in the middle, which I'm gonna prepare it tomorrow perfect so I can show it. It goes in the middle and you will make your connections right away on the core.
In this setup, there is no motor to start. There is no ignition point. He uses the capacitors and the unit, because everything in its plasma condition immerses in the liquid plasma.
Yes.
And it creates its own dimension. With this, if you understand, you can produce megawatts of energy. Because the speed of rotation and the liquid gas which you put in, with changing the middle one to matter state, can you stop share? Who, pardon? Stop. The middle core being changed to a matter state, and the release of the plasma from inside dictates what would you like? Megawatts, gigawatts, kilowatts. The energy production is unlimited. The source is a free conditioned plasma rotation, and the energy crisis which has brought man to be the slave to those who control the food and energy is finished. You can produce this anywhere in the universe. Your system fails, you have to be able to restart. If you understand it, you can do what you like. If you have the condition on either side, you can create any kind of food, metal, energy, positioning. You increase one in respect to the other, you become magnetical, you become gravitational. You position this in a star formation, then you decide the span of your space system. This way, we tap into the universal energy without any matter state. The progress was to bring you to this point. The progress was to bring this situation under control. Now, if our friends who are in a disaster zone understand this, it makes it absolutely possible in a matter of next few weeks with support, with transfer technology and knowledge, that you need to place a very few of these very much like satellites above disaster zone. You feed people with it. They receive energy from it. You don't need to make bottles to give to each individual to drink. Everybody has access to everything, from antibiotics to steaks and chips. Because the emotion of the man will carry it. These systems, in collaboration, in the right way, will make shielding barriers that no one can penetrate. Those of you who are in governmental level, who are present, good morning to you. You understand fully what we are talking about. This means we can disarm any man through psychological approach to bring them to the balance, because that's what they need. The war planned for Iran will be doomed to the hand of those who set it up in Tel Aviv and in Washington. We protect the nations through the technology, not by destruction. We'll launch, please understand fully. You have every knowledge now to create whatever you need. You were giving the ganses to drink. Now you have the mother of the gans, the plasma-free condition yourself. The intention is the recipient. In so many ways, thank you very much. We have made one planet, one race out of the man. But you got to understand very simply, it's you now who decides how to develop this technology into the next step of space motion. The Maghreb systems in totality, in conjunction with the cores, are the tools for you to produce the free plasma condition of the center. If you put a little, you get an atom. If you put more, you get the structure interaction with the planet. If you absorb more inside it, concentrate it more, you will get galaxy condition. You want to do more, you can go to universal condition. What you have to understand, you've got to do is this. Can I get my screen back? Okay.